episode of Teen Book Talk with Stacey at the Goffstown Public Library. I'm Stacey, the Teen Services Library Assistant. Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you about a love-hate relationship I have with the book series. See, I love getting wrapped up in the characters. I love the journey that spans from book to book. I love the cliffhangers that obsessively call to me from the pages and just tempting me to stop what I'm doing and just read for hours on end. And yet, I also hate the book series. You know how it is. You've read a book in 2 days, you're hooked, you're invested, you know that there is more to come, and that is gonna come in probably a year or two. Or you have finished the book series, right? You've come to the end, you can feel it in your throat. It is the sadness because with these characters, you formed like a best friendship. You were like this, and now your journey has ended and you must move on. So even with all of those strong emotions, I still feel that it is worth investing time in a book series. So obviously, we're talking about book series today, and I'm coming at you with 3 book series, three book series, yes, that should be on your TBR. That means your to be read pile. And better yet, these are complete series. So you don't have to wait until next year for the next book in the series to come out. These are already done. Okay, there is nothing that I can do for you about that sadness that you're gonna feel when you come to the end though. I'm sorry, but it's gonna be well worth it. No further waiting, on to book series 1. All right. Book series 1 is called Arc of a Scythe series by Neal Shusterman. This is a trilogy. There are 3 books in this series. The first one being Scythe, second Thunderhead, and then final, The Toll. Now, the setting is Earth in the far, far future, and it's under totalitarian rule of an advanced computer system, the Thunderhead, that's the name of it, and it's brought utopia to the planet. See, there's no poverty, there's no crime, disease has been eliminated, and ultimately you are guaranteed immortality. However, babies are still being born, and that means that they're being added to the population. Now, overpopulation could seriously disrupt a utopian planet. That is where the Scythe comes in. These is an organization whose members are charged with gleaning, that means extinguishing the lives of citizens at random in order to keep the population under control. 2 teens, Citra and Rowan, are recommended for the Scythe Apprentice program. And recommended is probably not the right word for me to use because they have no say in the matter. So they are actually chosen and required to participate in the Scythe Apprentice program. Each teen is apprenticed under a legendary or an older scythe, and one of these scythes likes to kill for sadistic pleasure. Ultimately, the 2 teens must compete with each other, and only one of them is going to make it to be a scythe. Now, the one who becomes the scythe ultimately ends up having to kill the one who doesn't. This series is dystopian fiction. It's told in multiple perspectives, and it's darkly humorous in that humor derives from satirical treatment of death and suffering. The subject matter is enormously thought-provoking. Readers are confronted with different ethical situations, especially dealing with mortality and morality. Finally, these characters are extremely likable despite their revealed flaws. I suggest you check out this series today. Okay, series number 2. Sometimes you just need a light, fluffy book. Your brain doesn't want to work too hard. You're looking for simple entertainment, especially if you just finished a series that makes you think about ethical questions like morality and mortality, like we talked about earlier. So, I suggest the Gallagher Girls series by Ali Carter. It wins hands down. The first book in the series is titled, I'd Tell You I Love You, But Then I'd Have to Kill You. There's no words for that. It's just cheesy genius. There's 6 books in this series, each with their own silly but endearing title. Okay, so let me set up book 1 in the series. We welcome to the Gallagher Academy for Exceptional Young Women. This elite boarding school is for privileged girls, and they will excel at courses such as covert operations, martial arts physical education, chemical warfare, protection and enforcement, and of course, breaking CIA codes in their computer science class. These are definitely not courses you are taking, and that's because this is a school for spies. In our first book, we meet Cammy. She is a sophomore. She can speak 14 different languages, and she can kill a man 7 different ways, including with a piece of uncooked spaghetti. This girl has legit skills. But when she meets an ordinary boy who thinks she's an ordinary girl, she doesn't know what to do. She is tongue-tied, she is blushing, she seriously lacks relationship know-how. Phone tapping, house surveillance, rummaging through someone's trash, and hacking their computer is no way to get to know somebody or build a relationship. But that's all Cammy knows. All of this is unfolding as she's trying to complete her covert ops field assignment that's given by a new teacher, the swoony Joe Solomon. This is Nancy Drew meets Princess Diaries. It's fast-paced, romantic in a young love way, simple, cheesy, a bit peculiar, but I couldn't help falling in love with it, and maybe you will too. Okay, so this brings us to series number 3. This is the final in our book series, and this is my favorite. It is Stalking Jack the Ripper series by Kerri Maniscalco. And I'm going to, let me first of all say that it is gothic mystery, historical fiction, and I'm going to put this out there. It's not for the squeamish. It is gruesome. These books are gruesome and they deal with real life monsters. So I just want to throw that out there, but they are engaging, engrossing, and I just could not put them down. There are 4 books altogether. The first one is Stalking Jack the Ripper. The second in that series is Hunting Prince Dracula. Then we move on to Escaping from Houdini, and then final book, Capturing the Devil. Okay, so let me set the stage here. We have Audrey Rose. She is 17 years old, and she is a lord's daughter. Now, this is back in the 1800s, okay? So she lives the life of wealth and privilege, and between the social teas and the silk dress fittings, Audrey Rose actually has a secret life. So despite what her father thinks she should be doing, and despite what society's norms are for a Victorian era wealthy woman, Audrey Rose spends her time down in her uncle's laboratory working on the gruesome practice of forensic medicine. So in the first book, which shares the same name with the book series title, it's Stalking Jack the Ripper. And what we have is Audrey Rose is elbow deep in blood spatter, carving up cadavers and searching out crime scenes. She's working with her uncle and the dashingly handsome Thomas Cresswell as they are searching for a gruesome serial killer known as Jack the Ripper. Audrey Rose is a strong female lead. She pushes the envelope of society norms, and she outwits her opponents with her keen sense of observation and her highly intelligent scientific skills. If you love whodunits, then this series provides a whole bunch of twists and turns. There's abundant red herrings, and it wraps up in an engrossingly, loosely historical thriller. I must not forget the dash of romance. Have we talked about Thomas Cresswell? All right, I digress. So each book in the series brings Audrey Rose under the tutelage of her uncle, and also with Thomas Cresswell, who's around the same age and also studying to be a coroner. They do the forensic medicine on gruesome murders. And the thing that I love the most about this is the real life monsters in these books all have to do with real life historical figures that wreaked havoc on society. And so it's loosely based, but it definitely sent me down some rabbit trails that I was, Googling later on to find out about these real life monsters. And within the books themselves, the author gives a little bit of background history, and she also gives her thoughts on how she changed around the historical elements a little bit. So I thought that was completely engaging. Now, the other thing I want to share for you, and this might be a huge surprise because maybe you've never done this before, I actually read this series backwards. Meaning I started with book number 4 and went all the way back to book number 1. So I started with Capturing the Devil and then moved on to Escaping from Houdini and then Hunting Prince Dracula and then finishing with Stalking Jack the Ripper. Now, this series, I think, lends itself to that because each book can sort of stand alone. And I think that when I read the last book, there was so much in there that I needed to unpack that I felt compelled to read the rest of them that way. So if you don't mind a few little spoilers like that, you might want to read this series backwards as well. The last tidbit of advice that I'll give about this series: do not eat a snack while you're reading it. I cannot tell you again that it borders horror and gruesomeness. I mean, it's forensic medicine, so I'm just going to spare you that. Don't eat a snack when you're reading it at all. That brings us to the end of our book talk today. I really enjoyed sharing these 3 book series with you. In our description field, I have given you the title along with the author of these books, and I've also told you whether or not they can be found in the Goffstown Public Library's card catalog or as downloadable resources, or both. The other thing I would love to let you know is when you're looking at these books in the online catalog, if you scroll down to the bottom, it actually does give you the books in the series. So you can scroll down on that page and you'll be able to see each book that's in that series. And that will help you, and you can click on it and that will bring you to that particular book in our catalog. So I want to know if you read any of these books. I want to know if you have a book series that you'd like to recommend for somebody. If you do, please put it in the comments on this YouTube channel. You could also put it in the comments on our Facebook page, our teen Facebook page, or Instagram. And remember, if you want to get the most up-to-date content, you want to know when another book talk video comes out, or when another one of any of our videos comes out, our do-it-yourself crafts or a story time, then you have to subscribe to Goffstown Public Library's YouTube channel. It's really simple to do. That's it for today. I really enjoy talking with you. I will be scouring for some more books for our next book talk. I'll meet you back here. Until then, happy reading.